Hi, good morning or good day, and welcome to our online class. So this video will be a continuation for our lesson 1 entitled Functions as Models. Last week or in our previous lesson, we've already talked about relation and of course specifically functions, and we also differentiated functions from relations. We've also learned that functions can be expressed in many ways. For example, it can be thought of as a machine wherein for any given input there is an output. It can also be expressed as table values, or it can also be expressed as a mapping diagram or a map diagram. And it can also be expressed as a graph. And most especially, functions can be expressed as mathematical equations. Unfortunately, last lesson or last meeting, we haven't finished the lesson. And for today, in this video, we will be continuing lesson 1. And we will be seeing functions as representations or its application in real-life situations. So for number 1, I have here a problem, and it says, and we are tasked to give a function c that can represent the cost of buying X meals if one meal costs 40 pesos. So, ang hinahanap sa atin is a function na magre-represent ng babayaran mo kahit ilan mang meals, number of meals ang bilhin mo kung bawat meal ay ang bayad is 40 pesos. So, logically, you can say that kung ilan man yung babayaran mo, yung total cost ng babayaran mo ay nakadepende dun sa kung ilang meals yung bibilhin mo. So you can say that C is a function of X, where C represents the total costs and X is yung bilang ng meal na bibilhin mo. Kung, yun nga, given that bawat meal ay may bayad na 40 pesos. So let's see. Kung bibili ka ng isang meal, babayad ka ng 40 because each one meal costs 40 pesos. And of course, kapag dalawa, twice ng 40 is 80 pesos. And kapag tatlo, 120. Therefore, kung X meal ang bibilhin mo, you are paying 40X, where X is yung bilang ng meal. So our function is just c of x is equal to 40x. Kasi nga, ganun lang siya ka-basic. Kung ilan yung bibilihin ng meal, i-multiply mo lang ng 40 kasi bawat meal ay costs, ang bayad niya is 40 pesos. So, yun na yung hinahanap sa atin na function. Function c is equal to 40x. And if we graph this function, makikita natin na linear siya. Kasi nagva-vary yung price natin depende sa bilang ng meal na bibilhin mo, and i-multiply mo lang yun ng 40. So, directly proportional siya and linear yung graph natin. So, pag graph mo, line yung lalabas. Okay. Ganun lang siya kadali. So, let's have another example. Dito sa number 2, sabi, there 100 meters of fencing is needed to enclose a rectangular area next to a river, as shown. So, nakikita natin dito sa picture. Give a function a that can represent the area that can be enclosed in terms of x. So, ang hinahanap sa atin is a function na magre-represent dun sa area na pwedeng ma-enclose in terms of x only. So, as you can see, x is the length and y is the width. And mahalaga ding i-note na one side of the rectangular lot is facing the river. And you are only given 100 meters, you only need 100 meters to fence. Ibig sabihin, pag binakuran mo yan, so ang length lang ng bakod na kailangan mo is 100 meters. So, paano natin gagawin yan? So, yung solution. So, we have here the image of the river. Alam natin that ang area ng rectangle is equal to length times width. And in the given figure, obviously, the length is x and the length is y. So we have a function or an area function which is a function of the length x and the width y. So area is equal to xy. However, ang hinihingi sa atin is express natin tong area function na to in terms of x only. Nakalagay dito, area natin is a function of xy which is equal to the product of x and y. So, kailangan nating ma-eliminate yung variable na y. So, paano natin gagawin yon? Sinabi sa problem na meron tayong bibigyan tayo ng 100 meters na fencing and yun lang yung kailangan mo para malagyan ng bakod yung buong rectangular lot. And as you can see, pag sinabi nating bakod, di ba, yung paligid lang nung lot yung lalagyan mo. So, yung bakod na yun ay equal lang dun sa tinatawag nating perimeter. Kasi di ba, ang definition ng perimeter is yung length total length ng sides ng isang rectangular lot. Okay? Or ng rectangular figure. However, in this case, yung perimeter natin ay nawawalan ng isang side. Kasi nga, ang babakuran mo lang naman or lalagyan mo ng bakod is yung mga sides, lahat ng side except dun sa side na merong river. So, nakalagay naman dito sa figure na hindi mo na kailangan or wala nang bakod dun sa river. Therefore, yung perimeter lang na sinosolve natin or na kailangan natin, yung kailangan mo lang bakuran, lagyan ng bakod is isang x tapos dalawang y. Kaya ang solution natin ng perimeter as a function of x and y is x plus y or x plus 2y. Isang x, dalawang y. Isa lang sa x kasi yung bandang river, yung side na nakaharap dun sa river ay hindi niya nalalagyan ng bakod. So, however, itong perimeter na to or yung function na to na x plus 2y ay equal lang dun sa 100. 100 meters lang yung kailangan mong bakod. So, yung fencing na tinatawag dito, yung sinabi niyang fencing, equal lang yun dun sa perimeter. So, therefore, pwede nating equate yung x plus 2y, yung length ng babakuran mo, dun sa length na fencing na kailangan mo, which is 100. And ang gagawin ko dito is I will solve for y. So, transpose mo lang yung value ni x, it will become negative x, and then to solve for y, you have to divide by 2. And so, you have an expression for y. Y equals 100 minus x, all over 2 meters. And now, we can now substitute this value of y because parehas lang naman yung y na tinutukoy natin dito dun sa area function. So, pwede ko nang i-substitute yung value ng y na nakuha ko mula sa perimeter dito sa area function ko para maging function na lang siya ni x, ma-eliminate na yung variable na y. By substituting 100 minus x over 2. And you can simplify this equation, magiging 100x minus x squared all over 2 square meters. Yun yung area or yung function of area in terms of x. And that is the final answer. And if we want to graph this function, ang makukuha natin is a parabola. So, ito yung graph ng function na 100x minus x squared all over 2 square meters because it's an area. This is a parabolic function. See? Basic lang. So, let's try another example. Number 3, third example, a user is charged 300 monthly for a particular mobile plan, which includes 100 free text messages. However, messages in excess of 100 are charged 1 peso each, represent the amount a consumer pays each month as a function of the number of messages, M, sent in a month. So, meron akong plan, 300 ang binabayaran ko, and ang free nun is 100 free text messages. However, pag lumagpas na ako ng 100, meron na siyang extra charge. At ang charge niya is 100 pesos kada isang message na lalagpas sa 100. So, ang task natin is maghanap daw tayo ng function or let's derive a function na magre-represent dun sa buong babayaran mo, yung payment mo, as a function of number of messages or kung ilan yung messages na tinext mo sa isang buwan. So, gawin natin, solution, i-table natin. So, kapag isa lang yung sinend ko, so that is still less than 100, pasok ko yun sa 300 plan, na 300 peso plan ko. Pag dalawa yung sinend ko, 300 pa rin. Tatlo, 300 pa rin. Kasi hindi pa naman ako lumalagpas ng 100. So, pwede ko, mag-send ako ng mag-send hanggang sa maabot ko yung 100, still, 300 pa rin yung pabayaran ko kasi hindi pa naman ako lumagpas ng 100. Eksakto 100. Kaso nga lang, after that, pag nag-send na ako, madadagdagan na ng piso kasi lumagpas na ako ng isang message dun sa 100. At ang bayad ng per message na excess is 1 peso. Kapag nag-send pa ako ulit, nadadagdagan ng 2 pesos, so 302 na yung babayaran ko at the end of the month. Pag 3 pesos, 3 na. And we can see na for every excess ng 100, for every M, which is the number of messages sent, greater than 100, ang babayaran ko is excess sa 100, so minus natin yun sa 300, sa 100, I'm sorry, para makuha yung M minus 100 na yun, this is the excess in 100. Okay? Excess ng 100 na messages. Okay? And then, i-add mo siya sa 300. So, hindi ko na nilagay yung times 1 dito. Supposed to be, meron siyang times. Multiply to 1. Kasi kung ilan man yung messages mo, multiply to 1 peso. So, ilan yung messages mo in excess sa 100 multiplied by 1 peso. Pero since 1 lang naman yun, inumit ko na lang kasi inumit naman talaga natin yung multiplication sa 1. So, this is the function na magre-represent na ngayon para sa ating kung ilan yung babayaran natin or payment natin as a function of M in messages. As you can see, medyo weird yung behavior ng function natin kasi weird naman yung condition. No? 300 yung babayaran mo hanggang 100. Pero magbabago na siya pag lumagpas ka na ng 100. So, ibig sabihin, may dalawang behavior yung magiging function natin. Kapag yung function mo ay less than or equal to 100, yung messages na sinend mo, 300 lang yung babayaran mo. And any excess sa 100, may dagdag na piso. By the way, itong function na to, yung dito sa last row, ng table natin, pwede natin itong i-simplify. Kaya naging m plus 200 yung nandito sa function. Final answer natin, m plus 200 kasi 300 minus 100, we get 200. So, nilagay ko lang siya na ganito naka-parenthesis para malaman natin na yung m minus 100, this is the excess dun sa 100 messages na sinent natin. Okay. Yung mga ganitong function na mayroong iba't ibang behavior at nakadepende sa kung ano man yung value ng variable, for this example is yung number of messages, ang tawag natin sa mga function na to ay piecewise functions. Pag sinabi natin piecewise functions, yung function binubuo pa ng other sub-functions na tinatawag. Kagaya ng example natin, lumabas na yung function natin, yung main function natin is a function of 2 sub-functions or consists of 2 sub-functions. Yung unang sub-function is defined for values of m from 0 to 100. And yung pangalawang sub-function is defined on values of m greater than 100. Ang tawag natin sa mga ganitong function ay piecewise function. And still, both sub-functions have the same variable, no? Nakadepende sa dito sa example natin, nakadepende sa messages. Okay. So, ang final answer natin is ito. Yung mga piecewise functions is sinusulat ng ganyan. Actually, dapat wala yung right brace dito. Okay? Paki-omit na lang. Wala ito. Dapat ganyan lang. Left brace, and then, ililista mo kung ilan man yung sub-functions na nakakalagay. So, kung tatlo, kailangan tatlong rows yan. So, dito sa unang row is yung condition o yung magiging value ng function. Okay? And then, yung katapat niya is kung ano yung range or domain. Ano yung domain para maging ganito yung function. For example, 300 ako, 300 yung value ng function ko, kung yung domain ko is m from 0 to 100. Or for m, less than or equal to 100. Ganun siya. Unahin mo yung value ng function kapag yung domain ay ganito. Then for the second row, ganun din. Yung magiging value ng function ko is m plus 200 kapag ano yung domain. Yung m ko ay greater than 100. That is how we write piecewise functions. So, sunod-sunod siya. At mas maganda rin na yung domain dapat sunod-sunod din para mas maganda yung progression. Kung ilan yung sub-functions, yun yung bilang dapat dito. Kung tatlo yan, dapat meron pang tatlo. Or meron pang isang row dito sa baba. So, that is our final answer, which is a piecewise function. Kapag rinaf natin yung piecewise function na to, yung example natin, the function of payment, which is a function of messages, makikita natin na, tingnan nyo, yung graph niya is weird. So, which is evident na dalawa yung sub-functions natin, or binubuo ng sub-functions yung function natin. Kasi makikita nyo na dapat yung graph niya, mahahati nyo rin sa dalawa. So, yung graph, dito sa graph, from 0 to 100, straight line lang siya na nakatapat sa 300 na value ng y. Pero once na humigit na siya ng 100, ano nang nangyari? Naging inclined na yung plane natin. Or inclined na yung line. So as you can see, binubuo rin ng dalawang graph na pinagdugtong yung piecewise function natin kasi dalawa naman yung sub-functions. So, dapat dalawa din yung magiging muka. Dalawang magkaibang graph din na pinagdugtong yung lalabas dun sa graph natin. So, that is for our third example for piecewise function. We have another example, fourth example. So, for example number 4, sabi, a jeepney ride costs 8 pesos for the first 4 kilometers, and each additional integer kilometer adds 1.5 peso to the fare. Use a piecewise function to represent the jeepney fare in terms of the distance d in kilometers. So, sinabi niya na we have a piecewise function here. Okay. Wala halos pinagkaiba dun sa example number 3. Kaso nga lang, meron lang siyang konting difference. So, yung method natin for 3, ganun din ang gagawin natin sa 4. So, imagine na ang distance na na-travel mo na pagsakay mo ng jeep ay 1 kilometer lang. So, ang babayaran mo lang is 8 pesos. 2 kilometers, 8 pesos. 3 kilometers, 8 pesos. 4 kilometers, 8 pesos. Then, pagdating na ng 5, pag naabot mo na yung 5 kilometers, madadagdagan na siya ng 150 kasi 1.5 peso per kilometer excess sa 4. So, kapag 6 kilometers na, dalawang 1.5 na, so 3 pesos na yung excess, and so on and so forth. Pero meron lang tayong ililinawin dito, no? Kasi ang sabi niya dun sa problem is for every integer kilometer. Ibig sabihin, sa bawat yung integer is exacto, walang decimal. Whole number siya, no? In this sense, kasi positive lang naman yung, this positive distance lang naman yung ating kinoconsider. Ibig sabihin, wala dapat decimal. Ibig sabihin, madadagdagan lang yung ng 150, yung magiging susunod na bayad mo, madadagdagan ng 150 kapag naabot mo na yung 6, yung next na integer kilometer. So, ibig sabihin dito, okay, kung 5, eksakto yan, so dadagdagan ng 1.5 peso. Pero kung yung na-trouble mo is hindi pa umabot ng 6, for example, 5.2 or 5.5, hindi, ang idadagdag pa rin natin is 1.5. Hindi mo pa kasi naabot yung 6 kasi sabi niya, any integer. So, para siyang nira-round down to the greatest integer na mas mababa dun sa kilometers or distance na na-cover mo. So, hanggat hindi mo naabot yung 6, for example, 5.99999, hindi mo pa rin naabot yung integer kilometer na 6, 1.5 pa rin ang ibabawas natin or dadagdag natin dun sa 8 pesos na fare. Ganun din kapag 6, 6.1, 6.2, 3 pa rin or 3 pesos pa rin hanggat hindi mo naaabot yung integer value or integer kilometer na 7. Okay? Unlike kasi din sa example number 3 na talaga namang yung mga messages is integer talaga siya. No? Hindi siya, wala siyang decimal. Kasi hindi ka naman pwedeng mag-text ng kalahati lang. Laging buo yan, laging tigi-isa, 3 text, 5 text yan. Sa distance pero, kasi pwede tayong mag-travel ng in between. There are many points in between, 5 and 6. Pwedeng 5.5 kilometer, 5.2 kilometer. Pero ang sabi dun sa problem natin is madadagdagan lang ng 1.5 additional for every integer kilometer. So hanggat hindi mo naaabot yung next integer kilometer, hindi mo dadagdagan ng 1.5. So I think na-discuss ko na yung ganitong function last time and we call this function floor function. Diba? Sabi ko last time, yung floor ng 3.3 is the greatest integer na mas mababa sa 3.3 which is 3. So ganito yon. Kaya yung magiging piecewise function natin as a function of d, which is the distance in kilometers, is 8 plus 1.5 na dadagdag times sa bawat kilometer na lalagpas sa 4, pero naka-floor function si d because ang sabi sa problem is for every integer lang madadagdagan. Integer kilometer lang madadagdagan ng 1.5. Kaya ang piecewise function natin is merong floor function. So, ang final answer natin, fare as a function of distance d, is first subfunction, 8 pesos for distances from 0 to 4 kilometers. And second subfunction, for distance greater than 4, ang magiging value ng function natin is 8 plus 1.5 times the floor function d minus 4 pesos. Okay, bakit natin nilalagyan ng floor function? Again, because madadagdagan ka lang ng 1.5 kapag naabot mo na yung integer kilometer, yung susunod na integer kilometer. Hanggat hindi mo pa yun naabot is ira-round down natin siya sa pinakamababa or pinakamalaking mas mababang integer, which is basically the definition of floor function. And pag rinaf natin yung function na to, makikita natin na still, because we have a function, a piecewise function consisting of 2 subfunctions, we should also see sa graph niya na dalawa yung graph. So, dalawang pinagtugtong na graph. So, you can see here, from 0 to 4, distance, or 0 to 4 kilometers, 8 po yung value ng function natin. And, yung mga susunod is floor function na. So, as you can see, sinabi ko na rin last lesson na ganito yung itsura ng floor function. Kasi, anything between the integer 5 and 6, 5 pa rin yung magiging rounded number niya, rounded value. Anything between 6 to 7, 6 pa rin yun. Okay? And using this function, masasolve mo yung value ng function na yun. This is a piecewise function, and sa loob ng function, merong linear function, the first subfunction, and the second subfunction is a floor function. So yan po lahat. Those are the applications or representations of function in real-life situation. See, magagamit natin siya anytime. So it is even applicable sa mga real-life situations natin. So it's time for you to try. Kayo naman yung gagawa. So, but okay, ipopost ko na lang din ito sa Google Classroom. So 5 items sit work. So, pero make sure na basahin or panoorin nyo muna yung previous discussion ko. So for any questions, please feel free to comment, or mas madali kung ipipm mo ko, mag-comment ka dun sa post ko sa Google Classroom. So that's all for the applications of functions or representations of functions in real-life situations. I hope you learned something. So don't be afraid na magtanong sa akin. PM mo ako or mag-comment ka sa GC or sa Google Classroom natin. Thank you and happy learning.